Hey guys, it's Vince with Mastering the Method, and today we are taking a look at adjusting our speed settings for the printer within Simplify 3D 5.1. And of course, I'm talking about the method, guys. So I know many of you are always curious to see what print speeds are attainable. I know I am. I went from Cloud Print, and like many of you, Cloud Print limited my print speed dramatically. I think I was doing somewhere around 10 to 15 millimeters a second within that software, which is ridiculous. This software has changed the game for me, and I want to just test and see what I can do to optimize that speed setting. Now, of course, I'm not a speed demon. I really go for finished prints in terms of quality. So again, everyone is different. I know some guys like to push, the limits of their hardware, and that's fine if that's what you choose to do. I'm just thinking there's a little more meat on the bone that hopefully I can optimize, and if I can and naturally get the same quality of print, why not take the speed if it's there? That being said, I highly recommend you guys stay with a component for doing any type of speed settings, whether you're using Cloud Print or you're using whatever software slicer you're using, and make sure you stay with a print that you already have a physical copy of in perfect condition that was successful, so that you can compare the one that you're working with when you make any speed adjustments, because that's the whole premise of this. You don't want to have any abnormalities come up with a print that you're working with at a higher speed setting. So anyways, after we've got that all taken care of and you're all set with a piece of software that will do screenshots, and the main reason you want to do screenshots is you want to take a snapshot of your baseline settings. So we come in here to process one, and I'm coming over here to speeds. You can see my default print speed is set at 1800 millimeters a minute. Now I can tell you, and many of you have already seen the video where I've compared Cloud Print versus Simplify, and I was printing at this exact speed and the print came out flawless. I have not messed with this speed, and that's why I feel there's a little more meat on the bone there to be actually adjusted to. The XY travel speed I have adjusted for the rapid motion. I bumped it up to 3700 millimeters a minute, and once again the printer performs excellent, so I'm not really going to mess with any of that. What I am going to do is calculate a number from this number to see where I can actually hold steady using nylon carbon fiber. Now, of course, every filament, as many of you already know, is going to require a different print speed setting. So I primarily use nylon carbon, and therefore I think a 30% decrease from the actual rapid speed is somewhere where I'd want to be. So I'm going to set this at 2500 millimeters a minute. But before I do, as I just discussed, you want to make sure you're using a screen snapshot software, and I use Snagit, so that I can take the default print speed and take a snapshot of my previous settings, so if I have to revert back, I've got all this information. This is something a lot of guys miss, and I deal with that on my other business. I deal with guys that will contact me and they never do any type of recording of data, and this is very important because these settings are really critical and stop you from chasing your tail. So first setting you're going to want to record naturally is your default print speed. We already got that. And I'm going to bump this up to 2500. We're all good there. Now that that's done, I'm going to want to come over here to our layer tab, and the first layer speed I'm going to drop down now from 20% to 10%. And the reason I'm doing that, again, if you leave your cursor in the box for your first layer speed, you can see the speed of the first layer is relative to the standard speeds for each feature type. So if we come back over here to speeds, and you see all of these categories: outer perimeter, inner perimeter, top layer, solid infill, sparse support, and dense support. All of these percentages are based off of this actual default printing speed. And so is your first layer. So if I'm bumping up where we started from at 1800 to 2500, we want to make sure that we turn our first layer speed down as well, because we are already turning up the default printing speed, which is the general speed that the printer will be printing at. So we don't want to increase our first layer speed too much. We're much better off staying at a lower percentage. So once again, we take a screenshot of the first layer, and you can see over here I've got that as well. So we've got our first layer snapshot. We also have our default print speed snapshot. We're not going to mess with anything else. That's another key point. Make an adjustment, and you can see it's really easy to get overwhelmed by all the different settings. Make one adjustment and start from there as a baseline. And again, the better you become at taking a note and following a pattern And if you can follow that pattern of, hey, I made one adjustment, I'm going to work from there, mastering the printer becomes very easy. It becomes more daunting when you manipulate multiple settings, and I've seen guys do that time and time again, and then they chase their tail, so to speak, because they don't know what setting affected what. So we've only made 2 adjustments, which make total sense. Once again, we've got our 2500 millimeter default print speed. We'll check our layer speed again, and we're at 10%. Everything here is set. We'll click OK. And now we're going to go to prepare to print. And again, one of the extruders used during the print does not have a temperature controller that is being heated. And why is that, guys? It's because I'm only using one extruder. I don't have to use the support extruder because I'm going to print right on the print bed. So I'm going to click yes. And there we go. And once again, I'm not peddling or selling Simplify. I'm just describing the features, guys. But I can tell you right now, the fact is, me or you not having to print PVA rafts on every print will pay for this software. It's done it for me. If you're using it at all, this printer at a percentage of whatever outcome you're trying to do for your business, this makes a tremendous dent in your wallet not having to print all of those supports and time. So now that I've said that, we're going to click on our live preview tracking, and that will let us track actually the print as it's happening within the software itself, meaning Simplify. I've already got open our Makerbot print. Everything is here. You can see the build plate is all set up, and we will see a clear build plate note come up. That warning comes up as soon as we send the file to the printer. So what we're going to do now is begin printing on the machine. It's asking me what I want to send it to, and of course Makerbot Method X Carbon Edition. We're connected. You can see our X, Y, and Z axis. Everything here is set. We're going to just shrink this. This is the machine control panel. We're all set, and now we should have our message right here. And you can see clear build plate. I love this feature because it is possible that you might forget something's on your build plate, and there's no way you can do it this way. We're all set. So as soon as he starts printing, guys, I will go over to the printer and we'll continue the video from there. Okay, guys, I'm in front of the method, and you can see we're at 1% right now. He's laying down the first layer, and of course at 10% first layer speed, you can see how he's just crawling right now. There's our rapid, and you can see we've got 1 hour 33 minutes left remaining on the print. We're looking at roughly a 39% decrease in time to print this particular component and any other component if this holds true. So we'll see exactly how we do. Joanna is of course filming it, and he is doing a great job at laying this first layer. I'm going to do some intermittent recording. Once he accelerates past the first layer, we'll get to see that real print speed and see how he actually is doing. Okay, guys, we are at 13% now. We got 1 hour and 9 minutes remaining, and you can see he is really boogieing right now. For a method, again, this is really fast, at least in my eyes, because I was never able to achieve anything like this. As a matter of fact, you can see where he actually did the skirt, where he came around, and it actually left like little traces of the filament. But as he's printing the part, I can't get over how the quality looks great. You can see that I'm sure she's, oh yeah, she's got a nice stable image to show you guys. It looks pretty amazing, and it is of course using the ironing feature in Simplify. So we'll see how this part actually turns out, but so far so good. It looks really great. Okay, guys, we are at 34% now. And he is really cooking now. I'm still amazed by this speed at which this is doing this, considering the fact that it's also set at 0.1 millimeters in print height. We'll come back at about 50% and see where he's at. Okay, we are now at 50%.
And again, I really don't know what to say here. I mean, what I'm seeing, I'm just not used to ever seeing. This is really amazing. And anyone that wants to ever debate whether it's the software or not, I can tell you right now, whenever I run Cloud Print, I always had problems if I ever adjusted the speed. This is really amazing. Right now we've got 47 minutes remaining, and I will come back at about 65%. We'll see where we're at. Okay guys, we are at just ticked over to 66%. All right, we are at 67%. 38 minutes, I believe, remaining on the print. And I will come back at about 75%. We'll see where we're at.
Okay guys, I am in Simplify again, and you can see with the live preview tracking checked, you can see we're on layer 22, and this is going up by the second virtually at this speed. It is flying. If we come back into the Makerbot print software, we can actually see him with the camera. I'm going to go in there shortly, and we can see exactly what we've got with the print, but this is really amazing. Again, the camera really picks up just how fast he's moving. And for some of you, I'm sure this is nothing spectacular, but for me, it's amazing. I was never able to print at this speed, and it's truly amazing. So let me go film him inside, and we'll see what we've got.
Okay guys, we are at 76%. Let's see if I can get some focus there. There we go. Just moving along very nicely. And it's really amazing, if you put your hand on the side of the machine, you really can't feel any vibration whatsoever at this speed, which is just a testament of how rugged the system is as far as it being built rigidly. Okay. As soon as we get to about 85%, I'll be in again. 85% now, guys. Now it's really taking shape, and the finish is amazing. At least from here it is. And again, just to clarify, I am printing at 0.1 millimeter print height. And I'm going to definitely check out the nozzle when this is done, so I can see if there's any residual on there. See exactly what kind of residue we have. It should be very clean. Of course, you guys have seen the last video where I cleaned the nozzle and the hot end, so it's virtually immaculate. I mean, in the time I've been here filming, it's already jumped to 87%, so really moving right along. I will be coming in when it is done, which will be very shortly, and we'll check it out. Okay guys, we get to see that beautiful message that the build plate needs to cool, and you can see our finished part. And I'm not even opening the printer right now. It is really hot. But it's interesting to see how the skirt actually did that rapid move when it was actually dispersing excess filament. And you can see that right around the part. but the finish on the part looks incredible at that speed. And I won't know up close until I compare the two, and we will see that as well. But this looks really good from here. The nozzle, at least from right here, looks pretty good. I'll examine it with the dental mirror and we'll see exactly where we're at, but this looks really good right now. As soon as it cools down, I'll get the part out and we'll do a direct comparison between 1800 millimeter print speed and 2500 millimeter print speed. Okay guys, I am retrieving the print just as you've seen it. Again, lift the build plate from the bottom up. You'll feel the magnets reduce and you can see what we've got here. Now, here is the print that was done with Simplify at 1800 millimeters, and then over here the print that we just got done at 2500 millimeters. You can see the ironing. This print came out amazing. Now what's truly amazing is here's the Makerbot's cloud print software print, and you can see the difference. I mean, between these three components you can definitely see, and again, to see this up close and personal is amazing. I'm going to take this off the build plate now. Just lift right off. Okay, we got a little part separation on the bottom, and that's more for me than anything else. I'll definitely have to adjust my heat settings, and I think it's just because of the speed increase, but that first layer was coming out really, really nice.
Okay guys, what I did was I went back and I made a temperature adjustment on the component, and I wanted to show you guys right here. Again, I made a very slight temperature adjustment. I started at 252, I went to 254 degrees Celsius, and again took a snapshot of my original temperature. So again, I do have the snapshots from all of my previous settings as far as default that I know are confirmed and work. This way, if any adjustment I make now does not work, I know a baseline of where I started from, so I'm not chasing my tail as discussed. I highly recommend you do the same. Right now the print has been completed, and you can see it right here, and I'm going to go and see how it looks and try to remove it from the build plate.
Okay guys, we are at the printer to review the second print with the differential in temperature. Now this print, of course, we bumped up the temperature by only 2 degrees Celsius. I'm going to take out the build plate right now, carefully, just to show we're unbiased. We've got the other prints that we did, and again, this one is the original print at 1800 millimeters, and this is with Simplify. And again, the finish is obvious. You can see it right there. This is also with Simplify, and this is when we printed. You can see we've got just a teeny bit of first layer separation, so I should have done this on the initial print, but it's good practice and it's good for you guys to see how to troubleshoot this. I just went slightly higher in temperature, which should increase the bonding strength of that layer, the first layer. But if you look at the two, in terms of 1800 millimeters to 2500 millimeters, the finish is identical, and that is awesome. That's exactly what we want. And then coming over here, we have our cloud print, and I really don't even have to compare it to either one of those prints. You can see this is not even close. I was still able to get a successful print, but nowhere near the finished quality that you will get with this. Now, some of you really don't care, and that's fine. Let's see how this unit came out now with the increase in temperature. Let's hope it comes right off. And the only thing we have here, it looks like my skirt, and this is due to the speed, I'm certain, it did a wiping of the nozzle. I might turn that off for this print, but that extra increase in temperature definitely gave us a perfect first layer and no delamination. I'm just going to trim where it looks like my skirt just happened to become part of my print. Right there. Done. Trim that. Perfect. We got a perfect print, guys. This came out beautiful. And again, you can see the difference in the first layer. Everything there. Just beautiful. Always getting little hairs. And then we can compare that to cloud print. And what's amazing, again, this is 2,500 millimeters. So I literally went up from the stock 1,800 millimeters at 39% in speed. And of course, the software adjusts. You're not running full speed all the time. But if you review the quality of the two, these are identical. You can see. Now, of course, just so everyone is aware, whenever you make a speed increase, you must increase the temperature. Now, how much? I went only 2 degrees Celsius, and you can see the difference. It brought this first layer in absolutely beautiful. No delamination, and just a gorgeous finish. Beautiful. So, again, just keep that in mind. I would not jump massively and only make a singular adjustment to one setting. Typically, it will be your temperature. Don't do numerous settings at once because you'll be chasing your tail. If you're testing printing, this is the easiest way to do it. I think the only adjustment I'll make is to turn off the wiping of the nozzle because it goes by very quick, to do it over the skirt. And when it does, if it loosens the skirt, it can fall into your print. So these are just things to think about. I could also move the skirt out wider. If I'm only doing a singular print, I can bring it out much wider. You could do the same. But overall, this is truly amazing to see that quality. I've never been able to achieve that speed or that quality at that speed, let alone just looking at the differences. Like I said, to see these and to see how they're done, it's pretty amazing. Thank you guys for your support. Love to hear your comments. I hope the video has helped you. Again, document everything, and hopefully you'll get to perfect printing. Take care.